Alright, so today we're going to be working to make the Miata look a bit more aggressive, a little less cuddly, and also I'm going to be installing that chassis brace that I picked up in that junkyard video a while back. Hopefully it'll make the car handle a bit better because I have an autocross event this weekend and I'm in last place currently, so I gotta gain some positions or something. So to start off, I'm just going to be drilling some holes across the rear bumper. It's really simple to do, it costs nothing, and it helps to make the car more mine, add some character. It's going to be pretty much like the E36, which is right behind me. Also, I just threw my bacon hood on that's completely crumpled because I'm trying to get the car inspected this week. I think it has a chance of passing. The main thing, I'm just worried about the windshield. But back to the bumper. It's gonna look pretty much exactly like this, just a few holes going across. Really easy, real simple, and it shouldn't take me that long. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and address this because I know it's gonna be asked. The purpose of these holes in the rear bumper is to just let out any air that goes underneath the car that would normally be trapped by the rear bumper like a parachute. Just having those holes relieves any pressure, which really, it's not gonna make no difference. Really, I'm just doing it for looks. It looks better, makes the car look a bit more aggressive, which the Miata could really use. But before I start working, I'm just going to quickly go over what I am doing. So if any of you out there are interested in doing this, you at least get a rough idea of how to go about it. Also, I just want to quickly show you all how much of a mess this car is right now. I pulled the dash out because I'm converting it to black, and obviously I had to pull pretty much everything out and it's just sitting all in the car. And I dropped the steering column and had to drive the car out of the garage like this. But now back to the task at hand. To start off, I'm going to be drilling a hole right in the center of the bumper, and then I can just add holes outward as I go. Now to do this, I'm going to be using a hole saw, which I got this whole set of like 10, 15, 12, however many of these there are from Harbor Freight for like $15, I believe. And I'm going to be using the 3-inch one. And what I'm going to do is measure between this to find the center, because normally there's trim pieces or something you can measure to find the exact center, but this is the best thing I have. So I'm going to measure between this, find the center, and then just drill a hole right in the middle. Pretty simple, and it should come out pretty decent and look even. So let's get started. Well, I finished up and I took my time with it, made sure I measured everything correctly. I'm extremely picky about this sort of thing, so if one of the holes ended up being off-centered or something, it would drive me absolutely nuts and I would genuinely go buy a new bumper. But I finished it up, so let's just check it out real quick. It's just holes, really. So here it is, and I know this look isn't really for everybody. A lot of people probably think it's trashy or ricey, which is completely understandable. I see where they're coming from, but I like it just because it makes the car a bit more mine. And really, my game plan for the Miata is pretty much like the E36, except with interior. And I think the car is coming along, starting to make progress slowly but surely. I still have to fix that horrible quarter panel. I'll probably break the belt sander out tonight and knock that out before the event on Sunday. But now we move on to installing a 1.8 seatbelt tower brace, which is pretty much like a strut bar that goes between the seatbelt mounting points. It's very similar to that. It just stiffens the chassis up, improves handling, and also provides a bit of like side impact like protection. So it's a nice little upgrade. They come on all the 1.8 Miatas, so they go right into the 1.6 with a little bit of modification. It's a real cheap upgrade. It's simple to put in. I believe I paid like $7 or $8 at the junkyard, but let's get to work and throw this thing in. So here's the brace, which you can see it goes in right over there and then comes here. I actually drilled these holes last night, and if you look down in there, you can see the hole where the bolt that goes through here is supposed to bolt into, which on the 1.8 it just screws in, but here it's just a hole, so I'm gonna have to drop a bolt through the hole and then go in from underneath and then put a nut on the bottom, which means I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of work. I have to pull out all these trim pieces, the seatbelt mechanism, and I'm probably gonna pull this seat out so I can finish converting the carpet to black on this side. Which pretty much, I forgot to mention, I put in my dashboard. I took some time off to make sure I get it done, which I think it looks great. And I still have a few finishing touches. I got to put the little caps in, and there's some scratches up here I need to just touch up with a little bit of paint. But the car's coming along and we'll knock out this strut brace. Well, I got it all finished up. It was a bit harder than I was expecting. I had to just like squeeze my hands up in there to get the seatbelt mechanism back in underneath the trim. There was no space. It was really hard to line up the bolts and everything. It took some time, but I got it in there. It looks great. It is extremely sturdy, and I think it'll really help the car out. Also, I pulled out the seats. Everything went through and just continued to dye the carpet black. So pretty much the whole interior is done. We'll just go check it out, check out the harness. I'm about to call it a harness bar. Everybody calls this harness bars, I'm not. But we'll check out the chassis brace, the interior, everything. Let's go look at it. So as you can see, I have a complete mess going right now. But we'll check out the chassis brace, which came out great. There's covers that are supposed to go here over the bolts. I'll wait for it to focus. But I couldn't put them on because it's supposed to clip in this hole right here, so the trim piece is blocking it, which I'm gonna have to just drill it out so I can attach it, but it doesn't really matter, and it is absolutely sturdy. This is picking up the whole car. It's not gonna move at all, and it really should help handling and at least give me a bit more peace of mind if I do get into an accident or something. It'll just help from the side just collapsing in. It's just a nice little thing, and I paid $7, so you can't beat that. Now, as far as the interior, I got it all done, and genuinely, I'm extremely stoked on it. Obviously, everything's real dirty. I need to vacuum. But if you look at this car, if most people look at this car that don't have Miata or something, you would just assume the car came black. All that is left to do is just get some new seats. I'll take the ones out of the E36 eventually. But also the seat belts are tan, so I can go grab a cheap pair from the junkyard. But the car is coming along great. I'm really happy with it, and I just have a few small things to do, and this car should look pretty decent. But that's everything I'm going to do today. As you can see, I'm making progress decently quick on the car. I'm not really putting any money into it, but it's coming along slowly but surely. It's starting to transition into something cool. I've been saying that pretty much every Miata video, but really I'm trying to turn it into pretty much the E36 just with interior. I actually really want to weld a diff. I was trying to restrain from it and just keep the LSD, but it is garbage. I took it out, tried drifting, and it was not having it. It's a VLSD, so it locks by fluid, which is, I mean, that just sounds like a terrible idea for a differential. But I'm just going to keep an eye out for an open differential to pop up, or maybe a parts car, grab it and then weld it and throw it in the car. It's actually the same exact thing I had to do with the E36. It had an LSD, but it was garbage, so I went and picked up an open, switched to welded, and I've never looked back. I'm really fond of it, and it does not bother me at all. But I'm talking a bunch. Just let me know what you all think of the progress on the car, if you like it, if you don't. It's gonna get there eventually. If I put a welded diff in it, hydros, the car will rip, and I'll be really happy about it. Now, I have an autocross event Sunday, so the video will probably be out Monday or Tuesday or so, and it's all the way in Virginia. Hopefully the car makes it with no troubles. It's iffy at best. I don't trust the car really long distance. It's just like the coolant stuff tends to blow up, but I think I fixed it all. But I'm just going to end the video here. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed the video, as always, drop a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and until then.